Hey guys, Necrage here Greg here from Oathbound Gaming. I did that on purpose, I promise. That's my online, my MMO name. Don't look that up. So, I'm doing a video today on Classic WoW. Tomorrow is Blizzcon. We're going to be streaming that, not on this channel. We'll be streaming it on another channel, so head to Oathbound Gaming's Discord if you want to be in on that. I'll send the link out. And there's a reason for that. It's because we're not sure if Blizzard's going to be okay with that. So, I'm just creating a new character here just to mess around while I talk about Classic WoW stuff. So I'm a huge fan of MMOs, love Classic WoW, grew up with Classic WoW, and I love it. I love what MMOs bring. I lead a large MMO guild. We're going to be going back to Classic WoW when it launches later this year. So tomorrow we're going to find out the exact release date and all that stuff of the Classic WoW Fresh servers. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Classic WoW and what ruined it for us the first time and what we would like to do to improve the quality of Classic WoW the second time. And it's a little general, MMO general, what makes a good MMO, what makes a bad MMO. So a good MMO, in my opinion, is about the community. You give power to the community to create a quality experience for the players. However, that can go both ways. If the community has a lot of power in a game, they can really shape the course of the game in like a sandbox MMO. They can make or break that game, you know? They can ruin that game. But there needs to be kind of fail-safes in place for that exact reason, for you know, to kind of stop players from destroying the entire game for everyone else. That could be like PvP safe zones, a criminal system that you can't finagle, you know, stuff like that. Like, you could do that. But I also think you should give players the option to opt into full PvP on specific servers all the time. Like, if they want to go that hardcore aspect, like they want to take that risk, so be it. It's there for them. So I think you should support that playstyle. Personally, that's very appealing to me. I like the whole, you know, no rules, Wild West type of situation where everyone's on their own, everyone can kill everyone type of stuff. I like that. No limitations, right? But Classic WoW is not a sandbox game, but it's very community oriented. So what did the community decide to do that kind of changed the shape of Classic WoW, changed it from what it originally was 16, 17 years ago? That would be speedruns and parses. For you guys that don't know what that is, there's a third-party website that tracks players' speed and parses, which is how well a player performs, which I would argue is actually a good indicator for how bad a player is, and I'll get into that. But what the community did was they took third-party add-ons in WoW, because WoW allows add-ons, and it would track your progress in a raid and upload that to a third-party website, so players can like search another player name. Oh, your parses are terrible. Oh, your guild speed is terrible. My guild was actually quite successful at speedruns, but you know what? It ruined the game for us. It killed it. It killed the game for us because it completely changed the way you play the game itself. Because speedruns aren't just about what you're doing in the raid at the time. It's about how you prepare for them. So, for those that don't know, there's a lot of world buffs in Classic WoW, and these world buffs, they could be obtained in various ways. One from a dungeon, a couple from a dungeon, Dire Maul, one from out in the open world from a plant, Songflower buff. Then you have Warchief's Blessing and Rallying Cry of the Dragon Slayer. If you're Horde, you get Warchief's Blessing. If you're the right faction, you can get Warchief's Blessing. So you get these buffs, but they're not always available at all times. So you'd have to, like, wait for Rallying Cry it's about to come out. All right, log back in your character. It's about to go out. You'd get it. And then as soon as you get the buff, the timer on that buff starts to tick down as long as you're logged in. So if you log out, your buff time is no longer ticking. There's also something called the Dark Moon Fair. When a Dark Moon Fair is up, it's not always up. It comes every couple weeks. You can get the buff from Dark Moon Fair buff, and it's substantial. It's like a 10% damage buff is what damage dealers would get. And they'd get this buff, they'd get all the world buffs, and they'd log out and wait for the next raid. And you'd be getting summons everywhere to save the amount of time, you know, to get to these locations to get these world buffs. And it would completely change the way you play, because you wouldn't be able to play that character until the next raid. And that could sometimes be a week in advance, because raids have a 1 week lockout for the most part, with some exceptions. But for the most part, though, important raids, they have a one week lockout. So players would get these buffs, they'd log out of their characters, and they'd log in on raid day and go, 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 go. They'd use these buffs to speed run through these instances. They'd pop massive amount of consumables, which cost a lot of gold for content that they don't necessarily need these consumables for. So it would completely revamp how players would play this game, because you'd spend a large amount of your time farming a massive amount of gold for consumables that you don't need to be using. Now, having consumables, it's a great thing. You know, it's good. I'm a very, very dedicated and hardcore MMO player. I always play to be the best I can possibly be. I play to be world's best level. That's my goal, always to be at that top tier. So it's understandable when other players want to do that. I understand that. But when you have a third-party website trying to dictate who is a successful player, who is a successful guild, it completely revamps how players treat the game itself. So it puts more of an emphasis on the work aspect of Classic WoW, which is to farm gold and get your world buffs and not actually enjoy the game and play the game. And it's not just the raid itself you're playing now. You're doing all of this crazy amount of work for 30 minutes of enjoyment. Now, I love raids. My guild, you get 40 of us together. Speaking of which, if you're going to be playing Classic WoW and you want to raid on Saturdays, hit us up. My guild, I love playing with them. They make MMOs for me. They're everything, right? Like, the people are everything. That's what can make or break a game. So I have a great group of people that I love playing with. So when you bring 40 of us together, I like that. I like just chilling with the guys and doing our raids. So you take a potential 2-hour raid night and turn it into an hour. So you take what I would argue is one of the most enjoyable things about MMOs, or about Classic WoW specifically, and try to reduce the amount of time you're actually doing it. That sucks. That sucks for me. You're taking the enjoyable aspect of Classic WoW and removing it. And I just don't like that. And I would love to do more raids, hang out with the guild more and have all of us together rather than, doing your 5-man groups. They're still fun. They're still great. I love PvPing. That's a massive goal for me. PvP, I got rank 14. I plan to do it at least 2 more times. So those are some things that I would change. Is no more speed runs, no more parse runs. I'm never doing that again, because that killed the game for me the first time. And it killed it for the vast majority of my guild. That's why we left. It just destroyed the game. We're not doing that ever again. So we're kind of looking to the future of what changes we're going to be implementing in not only our guild ourselves, what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be focusing on, what we deem success, a good indicator of success. That is not a third-party website. And just to touch on that a little bit, people look at these parses. Let's take a priest, for instance. People will look at the parses and be like, oh, look at this healing. Look at how good this priest is at healing. Oh, it's way up on the parse list. It's top 10 in the world, whatever it may be. When in reality, that fight, they should have been dispelling. So they refuse to dispel because it'll hurt their parses and make them look worse on a graph. It'll make them drop on the graph because they're dispelling a player in that moment. They're dispelling this debuff, that debuff, this debuff, rather than healing. So it makes them look worse on the healing meters, right? And they won't do that. They won't do the dispels. They won't do anything but heal, even though it's not the right thing to be doing in the moment. So in other words, they're hurting their raid. Their overall raid is hurt because this priest refuses to dispel, because it will make them look like a worse player, when in reality they are a better player for dispelling. So this is the world of parses, and it doesn't go with just heals and dispels. It's DPS as well. There's times when they should be doing something. They should be purging, they should be dispelling, they should be holding up a second because of threat-related issues, whatever it may be. Like when you pull Chromagus, a boss that he rotates his weaknesses. You could pull him, and he might be weak to Shadow right off the bat as he's coming towards the tank. And a Warlock who really cares about their parses is not going to want to miss that Shadow weakness phase, so he's throwing Shadow Bolts right off the bat, and he pulls aggro and wipes the raid. Now, obviously, that's going to look bad on the parses no matter what, because it's not even a complete fight, right? But he wiped the raid because of this parse attitude, this parse idea in his mind. That's gone for us. That is one of the ways we're going to greatly improve the quality of Classic WoW for us. That's something we really do want to just shun. We don't want to do it, and no shame if you want to do it in your guild, that's fine. And I think that's an important thing, is people are comparing their own guilds and their own raids to the rest of the world rather than just to themselves. Like, hey, man, these other warlocks are performing better in our raid, and we see that you're on the bottom. What can we do to help you? Let's find out what the other warlocks are doing that are better. I'm huge on that, sitting down with players and trying to help them become better players. I'm very big on that. But what people would do would be like, hey, this is where our warlocks are. This is where the world's best warlocks are. Not realizing that that raid comp they're comparing to is vastly different. They're coming with full world buffs. They're coming with full consumes that you don't even need, which, you know, if you want to use them, go for it. But they're comparing it to these players that play vastly differently. Plus, there's a lot of luck involved, obviously, when it comes to, you know, crits. And not only that, like weakness phases of Cro-Mag, for instance. There's a lot of luck involved. And you're comparing it to players that got lucky with the weakness phases, got lucky with their crits, and have a very, very different raid composition. And when you have 30 warriors, and you could down a fight in 30 seconds versus a fight that lasts a minute because your raid comp is different, it looks very, very bad on your warriors, because when you use an ability called Recklessness, which has like 100% crit rate for however many seconds, right? Like let's say it doesn't last for 20 seconds, but let's say it's 20 seconds, right? Just for math simplicity. If it lasts 20 seconds and you have a 30-second fight, that's up for what? A vast majority of the fight, right? Like 66% of the fight, you have this 100% chance to crit. Again, it doesn't last 20 seconds, I'm just saying it does. 66% of the time, this buff is up for a 30-second fight. When you compare it to a minute fight, you know, it's only up for a third. So it's vastly different, the DPS numbers. These warriors are going to look very, very different when you compare them. And they're not necessarily worse players. It's not the people in the longer fight are worse players than the people in the shorter fight. It's just a very, very different environment. And people would compare to each other, and the community became like this crazy toxic environment where, oh yeah, you don't parse above 95%, you're not in my guild. You know, that type of stuff. Very like elitist style. So I always play to be the best. Not to brag, but just so you know where I'm coming from, my guild was the world's best guild in Arcade back in the day. But it's a very, very different game, very, very different environment. So it's not, you know, it's a different comparison. It doesn't really go hand in hand when you're comparing Arcade to Classic WoW, because one's a sandbox MMO, one's a little more theme park. So it's definitely a very different environment. But the players and the community is very much the same, with how you look for players that are successful, but you don't use third-party utilities because there's no third-party website and parses in a game that's sandbox-based like that, because that's not important. It's more about the player themselves. And I wish Classic WoW was more like that, and that's something we're going to be pushing for big time. So for you guys interested in Classic WoW, I know this video is probably a little boring for players that aren't into it, but I just want to let you know we're going to be doing a lot of Classic WoW content, from our raids, our strategies, just dungeon videos, PvP, streams, PvP, montage, the old style montages. I want to do that, show some of the cool PvP fights that we've done, and yeah, I hope you guys will get there with us. One last topic I wanted to cover before we end this video. BlizzCon Online tomorrow. Blizzconline something. Tomorrow it's going to drop. We're going to be streaming it on another channel. I'm pretty sure I covered this, but just in case I didn't, hit up Discord. I'll be setting that other channel out just to it's going to be on Twitch, so we can stream there and talk about Classic WoW and Diablo 2 remake, hopefully, fingers crossed with that thing. Really, really looking forward to that. So we'll be doing that together as a community. If we'll be playing D2 remake, remaster, we'll definitely get there as a community. We'll join up together and trade amongst each other and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. But there's a good chance we might hear something about D2. So looking forward to that. Fingers crossed. So thank you very, very much for joining me with this Classic WoW rant. This was a little bit more about looking to the future of what this channel's going to be doing. You know, it won't be only MMOs at all. It's still going to be doing single-player games and games that are on the horizon, like games that aren't released that we get early access to. We're going to be doing a whole ton of that stuff. So I hope we have some MMO fans out there. And if you're into Classic WoW, I hope you'll join us for it. I hope you consider joining up with a hardcore guild. And even if you're a little on the casual side, that's fine. Whether you're into PvP or not, we'll still welcome you with open arms, so you can join our awesome community. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I just wanted to get this out there before BlizzCon Online tomorrow. And hopefully I catch you guys there for the live stream tomorrow. We can all have a good time, chat about what we're excited for from Blizzard, and hopefully we see some good stuff. So thank you very much for watching. I will catch you guys in the next video. Skid!